Don't let the simplicity fool you. Behind your front door, under your pillow, and inside your wallet, 3 forgotten corners could be quietly blocking the flow of abundance into your life. It sounds odd, maybe even absurd. But what if the problem isn't how much you work, how much you save, or how much you pray for relief, but where energy gets stuck? Most women over 50 have spent their lives giving time, care, effort, and grace. But when it comes to receiving, especially financial ease, something always feels just out of reach. And it's not because you lack effort. It's because no one taught you that your space speaks. Every object in your home either holds your power or leaks it. That's where the ritual of 3 bay leaves begins, not as superstition, but as a way to reclaim the energy that was always yours. You don't need a crystal ball, sage bundles, or incense smoke. Just 3 bay leaves placed with quiet intention in 3 very specific places. The difference? How you place them, the meaning you assign to them, the shift you allow because of them. Today, you're going to learn exactly what to do. No fluff, no theory, just a direct, powerful ritual passed down in whispers, now ready for your voice. But let me be clear, this isn't magic. It's alignment. And if you've ever felt like doors kept closing, no matter how hard you tried, this time you're not the one knocking. This time the door opens for you. Let's begin. Part 1. The silent mistake that blocks abundance at your door. You could be doing everything right. Saving carefully, working long hours, making smart choices, and yet still feel like something invisible is keeping prosperity out of reach. But what if the real problem isn't in your job, your bank, or your mindset? What if it's just your front door? That may sound ridiculous until you realize that in the energetic language of space, the entrance to your home is more than a threshold. It's a filter. It's the first and last word your environment speaks to the universe about who you are, what you allow, and what you're ready to receive. And most people don't even notice how it's quietly working against them. Walk to your front door right now and ask yourself, is it clean, open, inviting? Or is it covered in dust, shadowed by clutter, blocked by a pile of shoes, unopened packages, or old memories? You don't have to say it out loud, but your home is already answering for you. In Feng Shui, the front door is known as the mouth of Kai, the entry point for life force, for luck, for momentum. In Western terms, you might call it your home's handshake to the world. And when that handshake is weak, blocked, or neglected, opportunities hesitate. Money hesitates. Life hesitates. This isn't just energetic theory. It's lived experience for thousands of women who notice that no matter how much effort they give, something feels stuck, and they can't quite put a name to it. What they often overlook is that energy doesn't only live inside us, it passes through where we live. And your front door, it's either inviting abundance in or keeping it out. Think of how many times you've stood at your front door and felt a little heavy, not sad necessarily, just tired. As if something was weighing on you the moment you stepped in. That feeling isn't random. It's your body picking up what the space is holding. Maybe the porch light has been out for weeks. Maybe there's a broken pot on the step. Maybe it's the pile of Amazon boxes you keep forgetting to break down. Each of those things carries a message. I don't finish things. I'm too tired to deal with this. Nothing new is coming. These are not just visual annoyances. They are silent affirmations of stagnation. And they accumulate layer by layer until your own home becomes a mirror of what you've been silently telling yourself. I'm too busy to receive. I don't deserve more. Or this is as good as it gets. But it's not. The shift begins the moment you see your door not just as a functional object, but as a boundary of permission. What enters, what stays, what leaves. When you clear this space, you're not just tidying up. You're clearing a channel between you and the world, between your inner worth and outer wealth. Start by simply noticing. Is the welcome mat clean or frayed? Is the doorknob sticky or smooth? Are there dead plants nearby? These may seem like surface details, but your subconscious reads them with precision. A wilted plant at the entrance isn't just a forgotten chore. It signals that growth isn't tended to here. A scuffed door covered in dust whispers, "I'm invisible, don't bother coming in." If that energy is what greets opportunity, no wonder it keeps walking past. Change it. Not with expensive makeovers or dramatic renovations, but with presence. Wash the door, polish the handle, sweep the steps. Light a candle or place a small, meaningful object near the entrance, not for others to see, but for you to feel. Stand in that spot and say aloud, "Only what serves my highest good may enter here." It might feel strange at first. Do it anyway. You're not performing, you're declaring. You're reteaching your space and your nervous system that you are ready to receive. This act alone begins to reverse the signal. It tells the universe, she's awake now. She's no longer living on autopilot, she's choosing her energy. And from there, everything begins to move. Not because of the door itself, but because of what it now represents. A woman who remembers her value, who honors her space, who no longer lets life just happen to her. In a world that constantly pulls your attention outward, this is your first step back inward. The front door is not just an entrance, it's a conversation. What is yours saying today? Part 2, the ancient power of a bay leaf, more than a kitchen spice. If you're like most people, you probably have a jar of bay leaves tucked somewhere in your kitchen cabinet. Dry, dusty, forgotten. You might toss one into a soup for flavor, never giving it a second thought. But centuries ago, this leaf wasn't used for cooking. It was used for crowning emperors, shielding warriors, and cleansing entire spaces of energy. It wasn't a garnish, it was a symbol. And that symbol still carries weight today if you know how to use it. The bay leaf or laurel leaf has long been associated with victory, wisdom, and spiritual protection. In ancient Greece, it was used to crown Olympic champions, not because it looked beautiful, but because it represented alignment with divine favor. To wear the laurel was to be seen as one chosen, one guided, one protected. The Romans believed it held prophetic powers and burned it during rituals to ward off darkness and bring clarity. Even in modern energy work, the bay leaf is considered a purifier, clearing negativity, cutting stagnant ties, and creating a field of protection around the person or space it touches. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you thought of a bay leaf as powerful? Probably never. But here's what matters more. What if your relationship with abundance, peace, and clarity could shift just by changing the way you view something so simple, so accessible, so overlooked? That's the deeper message of this ritual. Not that bay leaves are magic, but that you are. And when you begin to treat your space, your energy, and your rituals with reverence, even the smallest actions begin to hold power. The bay leaf works not because it contains some hidden force, but because it helps you access the one inside yourself. It gives your subconscious something to hold onto, something physical to anchor a new intention. Because truthfully, most of us have been operating under invisible programming for years, subtle beliefs like, money is hard to keep, I have to struggle to succeed, or I'm too old for things to change. These thoughts don't just pass through your mind, they settle in. They live in your habits, your decisions, your energy. The bay leaf becomes a bridge between who you've been and who you're ready to become. When you take a single bay leaf, hold it with intention, and place it somewhere meaningful in your home, you're doing far more than a gesture. You're speaking in the language of symbols, the language your subconscious actually understands. You're saying, "This moment is different. I am choosing something new." The act is small, yes, but the energy behind it, the presence, the clarity, the decision is enormous. Think of how often we rush through life. We clean the house mechanically. We repeat the same thoughts daily. We move from task to task without pausing to ask, "What am I inviting into my space today?" The bay leaf invites you to slow down, to touch something with intention, to remember that your life is shaped not only by what you do, but by how you do it. There's a reason this ritual has traveled across cultures and survived for centuries. It works because it reactivates something ancient in you. Not superstition, not wishful thinking, but a memory of your own power to call in, to clear out, to create. When you touch the leaf, you're not placing hope in an object. You're placing trust in yourself. So before you begin this ritual, take a moment. Really look at the leaf. Notice its shape, its scent, the way it's both delicate and firm. It has survived long after it fell from the tree. So have you. You've endured seasons, changes, storms. You've learned to give, to adapt, to hold steady. But maybe now it's time to learn how to receive again. The bay leaf doesn't bring prosperity. You do. The leaf simply reminds you that you're allowed to ask for it. And when used with clarity and purpose, this small green symbol becomes a key, not to a door out in the world, but to one inside you. A door that once opened changes everything. Part 3, the first leaf in your wallet, resetting your financial belief. Go ahead, take out your wallet, hold it in your hands. Look at it like you're seeing it for the first time. Is it heavy with receipts, overstuffed with cards? Tired from years of use? Or maybe it's neat, organized, but still strangely empty. However it looks, one thing is certain. Your wallet isn't just where you keep your money. It's where you keep your beliefs about money. And those beliefs, whether you realize it or not, are speaking for you. Every time you unzip that little compartment, every time you sigh at the balance, every time you feel that quiet, familiar tension in your chest when paying a bill. That's why this is where the first bay leaf goes. You see, your wallet is more than leather and zippers. It's a symbol. It's your personal gateway to the flow of money in and out of your life. Every day you touch it. Every day you carry it. But have you ever thought about the energy it holds? Most women don't. We're taught how to manage money, not how to feel about it, and certainly not how to bless the space where it lives. But this first step in the ritual is exactly that, a blessing, a quiet reprogramming, a signal to your nervous system and your subconscious that things are about to shift. Not because you're forcing it, but because you're finally choosing to feel safe receiving again. Because here's the truth. Many of us, especially women over 50, have carried guilt around money for decades. We've been told we must earn it with exhaustion, that it's selfish to want more, that it's safer to expect less. And even when we try to break free from those beliefs, they sneak into our habits, undercharging for our time, apologizing for success, silently fearing we're one mistake away from losing it all. That's why the wallet matters. It's not just about keeping money, it's about welcoming it. And for that to happen, you need to create a space that tells money, you belong here. The first bay leaf becomes your anchor, not because it holds power on its own, but because it reminds you every time you see it of your choice to reset the way you relate to receiving. Here's how to do it. Take one whole bay leaf, unbroken, clean, and unblemished. Hold it gently between your fingers. Close your eyes. Inhale once deeply, and then say softly out loud or in your mind, I welcome prosperity into my life. I receive with ease. I allow money to feel safe here. Then fold the leaf once carefully and place it in the same compartment where you keep your cash. Not hidden, not buried, placed with intention like something sacred. Because it is, because you are. From that moment forward, every time you reach for your wallet, whether to pay, to give, to receive, you'll be touching a reminder, not of what's lacking, but of what's opening. This is how new beliefs take root. Not just through affirmations on a screen, but through physical, repeated moments that tell your body, I am no longer afraid to have more. Some people will hear this and scoff. A leaf, really? But this isn't about the leaf. It's about the message. It's about rewriting a contract you didn't know you signed, a silent agreement to live with less than you deserve. This one simple action tears up that contract and replaces it with something better, a new story. One where money is not a punishment, one where success is not selfish, one where receiving does not mean someone else must go without. So the next time you pay for something, pause, feel the leaf inside, remember what it stands for. And instead of saying, I hope I can afford this, say, my life is aligned with ease and flow. That shift in language, in energy, in intention, that is what draws abundance toward you. And your wallet becomes more than a container. It becomes a magnet. This is only the beginning, but it's a powerful one, because the moment you place that leaf is the moment you say, I trust myself to handle more. And from that moment on, the energy begins to shift, not just in your money, but in your sense of worth. And when your worth rises, the world responds. So go ahead, place the leaf, start the shift. Your wallet is ready, and so are you. Part 4, the second leaf under your pillow, healing what you can't see. There are parts of you that no one sees, memories you've tucked away, fears you've outgrown but never really released, beliefs you've absorbed so long ago they no longer feel like thoughts, they feel like truth. And the strange part, these hidden beliefs are often the ones shaping your finances, your confidence, your ability to receive. That's why the second leaf must go where your conscious mind can't follow, under your pillow, into the world of dreams, where your mind softens and the healing can finally begin. Think about how you fall asleep. Maybe with a racing mind, mentally reviewing everything you didn't get done. Maybe with worry about bills or an inner voice whispering you'll never catch up. Or maybe you fall asleep numb, because feeling too much got exhausting years ago. Sleep is supposed to be restorative, but for many women, it's the most vulnerable part of the day. It's when silence creeps in, when old narratives get louder, and when the past shows up not as memory but as emotion. That's where this ritual steps in, not to erase what you've lived through, but to begin shifting what you believe because of it. You may not remember every dream. You may not feel anything unusual. But placing a bay leaf under your pillow isn't about results you can measure. It's about intention, gently planting a new message where the deepest parts of your mind can hear it. A message that says, I am safe, I am supported, I am allowed to receive even while I rest. From a scientific perspective, this makes perfect sense. During sleep, your brain cycles through states like theta and delta, frequencies that allow access to subconscious reprogramming. This is the same brain activity targeted in deep meditation and hypnosis. In other words, what you believe while sleeping becomes part of your wiring. And if you've spent decades believing that money is hard, that comfort is selfish, or that you're not enough, those beliefs didn't form overnight. They won't dissolve overnight either. But this ritual, it begins the undoing. Here is how to do it. Just before bedtime, hold the second bay leaf in your hand. Bring your awareness to your breath, not to force it, just to notice. Let yourself feel the texture of the leaf. It's dry, yes, but strong. It has held its shape long after leaving the tree, just like you. When you're ready, whisper or think a phrase that feels gentle but true. Something like, I release what no longer serves me. I receive healing in my sleep. Then slide the bay leaf beneath your pillow. not under the mattress, but where it's closest to your head. You can also write a word on it, peace, clarity, or simply your name, to personalize its energy. This isn't about superstition. It's about creating a bridge between your conscious desire for change and the part of your mind that still clings to old protection. Because that's often what resistance is, not defiance but self-protection. Somewhere along the way, you learned that safety meant staying small, that receiving meant risk, that asking for more meant asking for disappointment. But under the pillow, beneath the noise, the logic, the adulting, there's still a younger version of you waiting to be told she doesn't have to protect herself from prosperity anymore. This ritual is for her. For the teenager who learned to shrink to stay liked. For the young woman who gave everything and kept nothing for herself. For the mature woman who's ready now, not to fix herself, but to honor who she's become. The bay leaf becomes a quiet partner in this work. It doesn't judge. It doesn't push. It just holds the space night after night like a soft echo reminding your system it's safe to open now. Over time, you may start to notice subtle shifts. A calmer wake-up. A dream that feels oddly clear. A moment during the day when you catch yourself saying something more empowered than you used to. That's the leaf doing its work, not through magic, but through presence, through consistency, through the decision you made to stop treating your healing like an afterthought. And if you ever doubt that something this simple could change you, remember, the most powerful transformations rarely come with fireworks. They come with softness, with repetition, with choosing a new message over and over again until it finally feels like home. So tonight, when you lay your head down, don't just hope for rest. Invite it. And let the leaf remind you that even in your most unguarded state, you are being rewired for receiving. You are being restored. And you are no longer sleeping on beliefs that don't belong to you. The shift is already happening, quietly, gently, powerfully, under your pillow. Part 5, the third leaf behind the front door, where energy enters. If the first leaf shifts how you receive money, and the second begins to heal how you feel about receiving at all, then the third is about protection, about permission, about declaring, without apology, that your home is sacred ground. This is where the energy you've worked so hard to reclaim must be guarded. And that's why the third bay leaf belongs behind your front door. The front door isn't just an entry point for people or packages. It's the transition zone between your inner world and the outer one. It's where life walks in. Opportunities, challenges, conversations, unexpected moments. But not all energy deserves a place in your home. Some of it needs to be filtered, redirected, sent right back where it came from, and this third leaf acts as your energetic gatekeeper. If you've ever felt drained for no reason after someone visits, if you've ever noticed a heaviness that settles after a tense conversation near the entrance, if you've ever sensed that something is off, even though everything looks fine, then you already understand what this leaf is for. You felt it, you just didn't have language for it. This final step in the ritual isn't about attraction, it's about boundary. A quiet, powerful no to energy that doesn't serve you, and an equally powerful yes to all that does. That's the real work of healing, not just opening up, but choosing what comes in. Here's how to do it. Stand at your front door, inside your home. Feel your feet grounded on the floor. Take the third bay leaf and hold it flat in your palm. Close your eyes for a breath or two. Picture your home like a container. What do you want it to hold? Peace, vitality, support? Imagine those energies swirling around you. Now say this simple but potent command. I am the guardian of this space. Only what nourishes me may enter. Then place the leaf discreetly behind the door, between the door frame and the wall, behind a decoration. or in a small envelope taped gently to the frame. Somewhere private, somewhere intentional. It doesn't need to be visible. The energy will know it's there. And so will you. For extra power, write your name on the leaf before placing it. This tells the space, this boundary belongs to me. This intention carries my voice. And every time you cross that threshold, from the outside in or from the inside out, you'll feel it. A sense of quiet clarity, a pause, a breath. That's the doorway recalibrating. Many people live in homes that are physically beautiful but energetically exposed. Too open to noise, to drama, to obligation. And over time, that openness doesn't feel generous. It feels exhausting. You begin to shrink in your own space. The third leaf rewrites that pattern. It helps you anchor your home as a place of receiving only what strengthens you. This isn't just energy work, it's self-respect in motion. A way of saying, I don't owe access to everything and everyone. And if you've spent most of your life putting yourself last, always available, always accommodating, this is a radical, loving shift. You are allowed to guard your energy. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to say, this space reflects who I am now, not who I had to be for others. And remember, boundaries are not walls. They're doors with discernment. This leaf isn't about blocking the world. It's about welcoming it on your terms. That subtle distinction changes everything. Over the next few days, watch how your home feels. Notice if you breathe a little deeper when you walk in. If certain patterns, unexpected visitors, emotional heaviness, clutter that wouldn't leave, start to shift. That's the power of aligning your physical space with your energetic intention. And just like that, the ritual becomes real. Not because of superstition, but because you chose to act with clarity. Because you remembered that your home is more than shelter. It's your energetic partner, your mirror, your sanctuary, so let the leaf do its job. Quietly, steadily. Every time that door opens, let it remind you, this space is mine. This life is mine, and I decide what enters next. Part 6, a real transformation story, from doubt to flow. She didn't believe it at first. Her name is Evelyn. She's 62, divorced, a mother of 3, retired early from a career she never really loved. For decades, Evelyn had done everything right, or at least everything she thought she was supposed to. Raised her kids alone, paid off her mortgage, never asked for much. And yet there was always that tight feeling in her chest when she opened her bank app. That dull, persistent anxiety that money was always on the edge of running out. She wouldn't call herself poor, but she was tired. Tired of surviving. Tired of trying to feel grateful for a life that still felt so small. When she first heard about the bay leaf ritual, she laughed. "It sounds cute," she said. "But come on, how is a leaf supposed to fix my finances?" Still, something in her was curious, not convinced, but curious. And sometimes that's enough to start a change, so she tried it, quietly, privately, no big expectations, just a whisper of hope. She found 3 bay leaves in her spice drawer, picked the best ones, followed the steps, placed the first in her wallet, carefully folding it like it mattered, slid the second under her pillow, feeling slightly foolish but strangely seen. And when it came time for the third, she paused. She stood at her front door longer than usual, noticed how dusty the frame was, noticed how little she'd cared for this space. Then slowly she wiped it clean, placed the leaf behind the frame, closed the door with new awareness. That night she didn't feel magic, she felt calm, and that was enough. The next morning something shifted, not in her bank account, but in her thoughts. Instead of dreading the bills, she brewed her coffee and whispered to herself, "I am allowed to feel secure." It wasn't dramatic, but it was different. Over the next few days, Evelyn kept noticing things. The light through her window felt warmer. She decluttered without forcing it. said no to a request that would have drained her. Then, on the 7th day, she got a message from a woman she hadn't spoken to in years, a former client from when Evelyn used to paint commissions. "I found one of your pieces in my attic," the woman wrote. "I'd forgotten how much I loved your work. Would you consider doing a piece for my daughter's wedding?" Evelyn stared at the screen. Her hands shook. She hadn't picked up a brush in 12 years. "It's probably nothing," she told herself, but her heart whispered, "It's something." She said yes. The painting awakened something in her. She wasn't just mixing colors, she was remembering herself. The part of her that used to create not for money, but for joy. And slowly word got out. A few more commissions came in, nothing massive, but enough to feel flow, enough to feel chosen again. She emailed me a month later. The subject line read, "I was wrong." Inside, she wrote, "I thought the bay leaf thing was silly, but now I realize it wasn't about the leaves, it was about permission. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm not pushing life uphill. I'm just walking with it." Evelyn's story isn't unique because it's miraculous. It's powerful because it's real. Because her transformation didn't come with fireworks. It came with softness, with small yeses, with one quiet decision to believe in something again. And maybe you're like her. Maybe you've done everything you were told. Maybe you've held on for everyone else but never asked what it means to feel held yourself. Maybe, like Evelyn, you don't believe in rituals. That's okay. Belief doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be willing. This isn't about bay leaves. It's about the moment you stop waiting for life to change and start changing how you meet it. A shift from resistance to flow. From scarcity to receptivity. From doubt to quiet, grounded faith. You don't have to believe everything at once. You just have to believe that something new is possible. Because when you do, even the simplest ritual becomes a bridge. And what waits on the other side might not be money or success or certainty. It might be something even better, yourself, finally feeling safe enough to open again. That's when the flow begins, and it doesn't stop. You've just walked through a ritual that looks simple on the outside. 3 bay leaves, 3 locations, a few words whispered into the quiet. But if you've made it this far, truly made it, not just watched, you already know this was never about leaves. It was about you. It was about returning to a part of yourself that's been patiently waiting beneath the noise. The part that doesn't just hope for change, but allows it. The part that remembers energy is not random. It's responsive. And that every corner of your home, just like every corner of your mind, holds a story. Some of those stories were handed to you. Others you built to survive, but now you have the chance to choose the ones that stay. The front door isn't just a piece of wood. It's a boundary between what you carry and what you allow in. The wallet isn't just a tool. It's the energetic mirror of how safe you feel holding abundance. And your pillow. That's the space where everything unspoken whispers the loudest. When you placed those leaves, you weren't practicing superstition. You were practicing neural redirection, using physical symbols to activate new emotional patterns. Psychologists call it embodied cognition. The idea that your body, your environment, your gestures all feed back into how your brain interprets your reality. When you act as if something is sacred, your nervous system begins to respond differently. When you create boundaries with intention, your subconscious begins to rewrite old scripts. You don't just think differently, you feel differently. And from there, you begin to attract differently, not by force, but by frequency. Because the truth is, abundance doesn't start with $1, it starts with a signal. The moment you say, "I am ready to receive," your energy field shifts. And when your energy shifts, your decisions shift. Your language softens. Your posture straightens. The way you carry yourself changes. and the world responds. None of this means struggle disappears overnight, but it does mean you're no longer carrying it unconsciously. You're no longer living in the echo of old programming. You're creating a new one slowly, gently, with presence. 3 bay leaves, 3 gateways, 3 acts of remembering. Not of who the world told you to be, but of who you always were beneath the survival, open, worthy, powerful. And as you walk through your home tonight, don't rush. Let yourself notice. Notice how your energy feels at the door. Notice how you hold your wallet. Notice the way your breath softens as your head touches the pillow. Because you've changed something. And even if the outside world hasn't caught up yet, the shift is already in motion. Not because of a ritual, but because of what that ritual awoke in you, the quiet decision to stop surviving and start receiving. You didn't just do this ritual, you became it, and that changes everything.